Hi, I'm Steph from OptimizeYou, and today I want to give you a 4-point strategy to help you start solving problems when it comes to your health. I mean, how many times have you thought, I'd really love to fix this issue, but I have no idea where to begin? Or how many times have you tried things and they haven't worked for you? This is such a common issue. And the strategy that I'm about to give you is meant to help give you a roadmap so you know where to start and then how to create an action plan that will actually take you to a solution. So our mission at OptimizeYou is to help people move towards better health each day, rather than just react to illness or injury. Now, a huge part of moving towards health is tackling the problems that we put off. Things like chronic illness, nagging injury, low energy, poor sleep, poor nutrition. That stuff steals our energy and in turn steals our vitality, our life force. We want you to live better. We want you to move better, feel better, so that you experience joy and fulfillment in your life. Now, Sarah and I have over 20 years combined experience as licensed acupuncturists, so we are really coming at this from a holistic approach. Both of us have devoted our lives to serving people in the health and wellness industry. It's what we love to do. And we've had thousands of patient encounters. People from all walks of life, all stages of health and fitness, all ages. And we realized we were hearing the same things over and over from our patients. And we hear this sentiment all the time. I know I want to address XYZ health issue, but I don't know where to start. So we created a method that we give to people called the 4 A's. And it's a 4-point strategic plan to help you identify the real issue, the root issue, and then take intentional steps towards addressing it and finding a solution. Now, we say it all the time to patients, your health is your greatest asset. Your health is your greatest asset. But there are a lot of things that hold people back from dealing with their health problems. Things like fear, time, money. People say, myself, I hold myself back. Things like limiting beliefs and self-doubt or maybe not valuing yourself. And then finally, of course, not knowing where to start, which is so common. So let's break down these roadblocks a little bit. First of all, fear. We fear the unknown. You don't know what to do? It's fearful. Time. We don't know how to devote time to something that we can't plan for. Money. We don't know where to put money or resources if we don't have a plan. Myself. Well, we tend to get in our own way when it comes to change or putting in hard work. We've all been there before. And then not knowing where to start. Listen, we've been taught that if we aren't an expert, we don't know jack about our own health, which I believe is so wrong, and we'll talk more about that later. So having a strategic plan like the one that you'll create with the 4 A's here will help move some of those roadblocks out of the way. Take any health issue, and I'm sure you've had one in your life. I definitely have. Maybe you get a knee injury playing indoor soccer with your work team. Maybe your lower back goes out when you're lifting up your 2-year-old. Maybe you've gained weight over the past couple of years and you don't know how to lose it. Maybe you're diagnosed with an illness, an autoimmune disease. All of these things are very common. People come into our clinic and they talk about this all the time. And with each new issue that comes up, it's really easy to go back to that place of paralysis. Where do I start? I'm so overwhelmed with information. What do I do? No doubt, it's easy to get overwhelmed by the amount of information out in the world or decide which is the best approach to start with. So that's what we're here to help you with. Many people will tell us that their top limiting factors in getting healthy are time and resources. And it's true, it takes time to go work out and shop and prepare good food. It takes money to eat healthy, to join a gym or go to doctor's appointments or specialists or physical therapy. So in many circumstances, these things can feel like a luxury. But again, your health is your greatest asset. I cannot stress that enough. And the first step might simply be creating a plan of action. Oftentimes, that plan can lead to solutions that you didn't see or that you didn't even think about before. Now, old school thinking is go to a doctor and take a pill or have a procedure. And in a lot of situations, that might be a good situation. But this mindset is starting to change and people are wanting more from their healthcare. There's increasing emphasis on prevention rather than reactionary medicine. And there's also increasing emphasis on holistic methods, therapeutic options that will take into account the whole person, the sum of our systems rather than a reductionist method that looks at pieces. So we want to think about focusing treatment based on root of problem rather than just symptoms. And we want to help people move and live more healthfully. Now, patients are a lot more educated now, and they're a lot more knowledgeable about their health. We have access to all kinds of information about health. This is the age of self-advocating when it comes to medical care. Essentially, when it comes to making changes for a healthier life, people have this ever-expanding pool of information to draw from. There's a million search engines that you can go on right now and learn about any medical condition. So let's talk strategy so that you can start to make headway on the big health issues that are getting in your way, and I bet you know what they are right now. We are addressing that big question here: where do I start? And this is a step-by-step process that will identify the issue and then create an action plan to address it. It's simple, it's accessible, and it's something that you can do right now. So the 4 steps are: 1, assess; 2, analyze; 3, acknowledge; and 4, action, 4 A's. The first one, assess. Essentially, you're identifying what the problem is. What's the issue? What hurts? Where am I having pain? Or where am I not moving well? What systems don't feel like they are working? Maybe it's digestion. Maybe I have acid reflux. Maybe I'm sleeping poorly every night. Maybe waking up tired every morning. How do I feel mentally? Do I have good energy? Do I feel joy in my day? Why am I so irritable? Why am I yelling at my partner or my kids all the time? Essentially, where am I dissatisfied in my well-being? And this requires some thought. It can actually be a pretty challenging step because you have to be honest with yourself. Maybe go through a checklist of systems and see where you're having symptoms or problems. Sometimes we don't even know what's going on in our own body until we stop and we do a little bit of an inventory. So some common things to start with in terms of systems: headaches. Am I having headaches? Dizziness. Am I having digestive upset? What's the quality and the health of my bowel movements? Sleep quality and sleep quantity, my energy level. Do I get sick often? How's my sex drive? Do I have body pain anywhere? Am I having anxiety? What's my stress level like? Am I feeling depression? All of those systems are really important to check in on. Now, the second step is analyze. Essentially, what's the cause? Now, this is where we take a look at how we got to these places in our life with our health. What's the root of the symptoms or the issues that you're having? Now, this is a key clinical concept in Chinese medicine. We always identify and treat root of problem as well as the symptoms, because symptoms will go away when you treat the root. We talk about symptoms as branches off the root. So you really want to identify both. Here's an example. So say in the assess section, you identify multiple complaints. You have neck pain, you have poor sleep, headaches, weight gain, and low energy. Now, this section is meant to analyze the root of those issues. So for neck pain that's been ongoing or chronic, the root of the problem could be a car accident years ago that resulted in whiplash. And maybe that whiplash was never properly addressed, and the ongoing pain resulted in you compensating, leading to muscular imbalances and weakness of certain muscles in the back. Maybe the headaches are a result of these tight muscles from that muscle imbalance or weakness. And maybe the headaches or the pain interrupt your sleep. So your lack of sleep is leading to low energy. And maybe low energy causes lack of focus, lack of motivation to exercise, not to mention you have neck pain, so you don't really want to exercise. And you're more prone to lacking intention around nutrition because you're low energy. And maybe you eat processed convenience foods most of the time because it's easy and you're tired. So this all contributes to more low energy and some metabolic imbalance. So if we were to break this down a little bit more, you have neck pain resulting from injury, you have headaches resulting from tight muscles due to chronic pain, you have weight gain resulting from poor nutrition and diet choices, and you have low energy resulting from poor sleep due to neck pain or unhealthy sleep hygiene habits, and poor nutrition. Now, this is just an example. It's fairly straightforward, and you might require another practitioner to come in and help you identify that, but this is common. This is something common we would see in the clinic. And not every condition is simple to break down, but you get the idea. Once you know the root cause of symptoms or problems, it's easier to focus on solutions. Sometimes breaking down the things and getting to the root allows more clarity about where to start. Also, see if you can identify what the main root is when you have multiple issues or things that you're struggling with. There's usually one main root. A lot of times, if you treat that main root or the cause of all these multiple issues, you'll start to see improvements in all areas of your life, even without specifically addressing them. And this is something that we see all the time with patients in our acupuncture clinic. It's one of the pillars of Chinese medicine. You treat the root and it impacts the branches. So what are the biggest issues? What is the likely root cause of that issue? And when you can verbalize these things or you see them in writing, the information overwhelm starts to dissipate and you can see more clearly potential solutions out there. Now, the third step is acknowledge. Essentially, I have this issue. I'm going to deal with it now. And this is such an important step, although it seems a little bit obvious. After hearing a patient's story or their chief complaints, we'll often ask them, hey, what are your goals? What are your health goals? How committed are you to getting this problem taken care of? And if the answer is anything other than I'm very committed, we have to start by addressing why you're not more committed. And we have to identify the roadblocks for that. Remember, fear, money, time, myself, and not knowing where to start, those are big roadblocks for people. So what, if any, is getting in your way? Now, one of my mentors in the acupuncture world, his name's Bob Doan, he always says to his patients, on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to getting better? And if they were anything less than a 10, he wouldn't treat them. And he would say, why aren't you a 10? Why aren't you completely committed to getting yourself feeling better? I can't be a 10 and have you be an 8. And I thought that was so profound because we don't really think about it. And it was really interesting to watch his patients and how they handled that question, because many people would say, I'm an 8, or, I'm not sure why I'm not committed. And a lot of patients don't even mention their top complaints when you ask them what their goals are. So, you really have to identify, if you're a 6 or a 7 out of 10, what's standing in your way? Why are we not feeling like we need to take care of ourselves? We have to acknowledge that the things that we are struggling with are an issue, and it's time to do something about it. I mean, really, that's half the battle, acknowledging the problem and then deciding to do something about it. It sounds simplistic, but the person who wants to get in shape but doesn't get off the couch to exercise will never get more physically fit. The type 2 diabetic who is 60% committed, a 6 out of 10, to getting their blood sugar under control is likely never going to get it under control. And I know people don't like to hear that, but that's just the truth. The person with chronic low back pain or weakness, if they're not willing to do the strengthening exercises, they're likely never going to break that pattern of lower back pain. And it's sometimes a blow to hear that, but it's the truth. We have to have ownership of this. Sometimes we have to talk to other people about our struggles. It's amazing when you start to open up about your own story, how many people will be able to relate to you, or maybe they have a little tip or solution to lead you on your path to meeting your goals, right? And that's part of acknowledging. And just a quick note about one of those big roadblocks, not knowing where to start. There are a lot of societal messages that tell us that unless we're experts, we don't know what's right for our bodies or what might be out of balance. And I just staunchly disagree with that. I think that we as humans have potential to be incredibly intuitive about our health. And our bodies have so many biological checks and balances and alarm bells that tell us when something is off. These bodies of ours, they want to move towards health. So don't be shy about tuning in and listening to your body. Don't be afraid of what your body is telling you. Listen to your symptoms and listen to your intuition. We so often know what we need. We just aren't in the habit of trusting that. We're used to some external force telling us what to do. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, this sounds too easy, you're right. We are not in the business of creating a complicated strategy for you. This is about getting clear and beginning. Obviously, There are circumstances that with health every day that are very challenging and are very complicated. And that requires, multiple people weighing in and helping. But for so many people, this is an issue of motivation and action. It's having a clear plan. You have to own your health. You have to actively participate in your life. And there are always ways to make even small moves towards better health. Often the problem is that we just aren't doing anything about our issues. We put ourselves on the back burner. I know you've seen it before. You might have done it before. I've seen it in myself and I've seen it in other people. But it's amazing what can happen even when you just start doing a few little things. The momentum that is created through small actions, it adds up to big change. So on to the final step, number 4, action. Your plan moving forward, you have to create a plan. We don't make impactful changes unless we create a plan. So this is the step where you come up with actionable items to take, little steps to take in the short term and even maybe in the long term so that you can address the issues that you identified in your first step, assess. Many times we know the solution, we've talked about that, or at least we know part of it. We have more information than we give ourselves credit for. So sit down, spend some time working through your problem. Ask yourself, what's working and what's not working? What have other people done to get to the other side of my problem? So let's give a couple of examples here just so that we can start thinking about what an action plan would look like. Say you're talking about nutrition and food choices. Maybe you want to start the detox that your practitioner recommended. Maybe you want to pursue a meal plan that you know works for you and make it happen for 1 month and then reassess. Maybe you want to commit to getting rid of processed foods, junk foods in the pantry. Say you have neck pain. Do you actually need to do stretches and exercises that work for you? Do you need to find a qualified healthcare professional that can lead you in the right direction? It may be as straightforward as just scheduling the appointment that you've been meaning to make and literally picking up the phone and making the appointment. Maybe you have low energy and it's as simple as needing to go to bed on time. Maybe you need to seek help because you wake up at 3 a.m. every night. That's very common, actually. Maybe you need to reduce stress in your job or your life. Maybe you can create 3 items that would help you do that. Maybe you could come home on time, not work at home after you're done with your workday. Maybe you can do a daily 10-minute meditation before bed. Maybe you can seek help for underlying issues that might be causing the low energy, like autoimmune disease. Figure out what you can do to start walking in the right direction to meet your health goals. I know you have some instinct on this. We all do. Write it down. Write your plan down. It really ups your personal commitment to put it in writing and then plan to revisit that. Do a little research on what else you can do to meet your goals. Talk to people in your community that you trust and might be a good resource about what else you can do to further your cause. Practitioners or friends or people who have had similar issues. You can set an action plan right now as you sit here, as you write in your journal or on a piece of paper or on your phone. What are 3 steps to take within the next week to help you get on the road to addressing this issue right now or multiple issues? 3 steps. And then what are 3 steps you can take within the next month? So 3 in the next week and 3 in the next month. Set some goals, have some clear intentions. So to sum up this strategy, remember there's 4 A's: assess, analyze, acknowledge, and action. And I'll say it again because people have so much more success when they do it this way. Take the time to work through these steps through writing. And it can be, like I said, it can be in a journal, piece of paper, on your phone. But give yourself time and space to write this stuff down. Seeing it on paper helps you clarify and helps you solidify a plan for your current situation and where to go next. I've used this process over and over again in my life with my own personal health crises and even with my personal struggles. So solving problems in relationships, making hard decisions. And it's not so much the size of the struggle that matters. The process remains the same. Assess, analyze, acknowledge, and take action. It's a really straightforward way to be purposeful and to live with intention. And If this struck a chord with you, or you want more information on how to create an action plan using the 4As, you can find it in our course, Surviving to Thriving. We go really in depth about it in one of our modules. Surviving to Thriving is a 5-week course, and we go deep in teaching how to have healthy mindsets and overcome health roadblocks, and just really optimize some of the bigger specific topics that impact our health and well-being. So I hope you found this useful. Thank you for being here and taking this all in. Remember, the project is you. See you soon.